breaking down the 15-year rule for criminal history as it regards to the feds. Hi, my name's Kyle. I'm a federal prison consultant that was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison, 5 for securities fraud and wire fraud, and 2 for violating the terms of my supervised release. If you or a loved one is facing federal prison, you may want to pay attention, like, share, and subscribe so you can get more of my content. When you or your loved one's having a pre-sentence investigation, which is going to lead to your pre-sentencing report, they're going to look at your entire criminal history. They may even get a chance to look at your juvenile record because it might not be sealed as tight as you think it is. However, they can only assess the last 15 years of your criminal history as it pertains to sentencing and criminal history points. When you get your PSI back, you're going to have 14 days to dispute the contents of your PSI. You're going to see your entire criminal history. However, on the right side of the column, it's going to tell you how many points were assessed in your criminal history score. Anything that's 15 years or older should not have a point next to it. It should say 0. Now, what exactly is meant by 15 years? If you got out of prison 15 years ago, but you were still on paper or parole for another 3 to 5 years, then your actual date is 3 to 5 years later. It has to be completely discharged. In other words, you have to be off probation, supervised release, or parole for it to be 15 years old or older. Like I said just a second ago, if you did a charge and you got out of prison, I don't know, say 18 years ago, and you were on probation for 5 more years, that's still going to count for a criminal history point. But that brings me to another really important point. The government and the court's not going to give you anything. You need to ask for it. So when you go over your PSI, you need to go over it with a fine-tooth comb, and you need to backtrack chronologically and say, hey, I was off probation, I was off parole, I was out of prison 15 years ago, and this should not count. If you feel like you were improperly assessed, then you bring it up to your lawyer, who will bring it up in court when they're challenging the PSI. And if it turns out that you're actually correct, they're going to have to correct it, and your criminal history category score could go lower. Now, remember, category 1 is for 0 criminal history points and 1 criminal history point. So even if you have a charge that's over, 12 years old, but not more than 15 years old, and just 1 charge, 1 incident, that's still going to be a criminal history category 1. Don't let anybody bamboozle you when you're in court and going for sentencing, because the criminal history score is a big factor in how you're sentenced. For more information, visit razorwiremedia.com. Follow my own personal website at thekylesandler.com. Follow me on all social channels at thekylesandler, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend.